Hello, world. Welcome to my channel, Proteus Augustus. I'm an artist, scientist, and American Constitutionist. And today, I want to talk a little bit about what I call the psychological ecosystem. Because I've mentioned it a couple of times, in some of my videos, but I never really communicated what I'm actually talking about. Okay? So, we all grew up somewhere. If anybody's watching this video, if you're a Christian person or you follow some spiritual and moral path of goodness, you are aware that things are a bit well beyond bad. If you don't believe that other human beings can act with evil intent by now, then obviously Christ has not entered your soul, right? You don't understand what it means to be a Christian. You might be trying, but in order to be I can only speak as a Christian man and what I believe is a Christian. But there's other spiritual and moral paths. And that's what I like to call myself as a Christian, because I don't belong to a church. I don't like to join groups. I've never done that, and that's probably because of my autistic nature. But from that point of view, growing up, I could see how some people were definitely different than other people. And that's why we had a legal justice system, right? And that it appeared to me to be fortunate to be in a country where ministers of privilege, citizens that we allow to be jurists and prosecutors, right? I felt that I was lucky that we had that they were going to do good for the people. And when I started running into issues, right, after our first house, that was, the stories, it's just unbelievable what has happened during the course of my life, right? And it should be no surprise to people that I sit back. I'm very deliberate. I don't jump into anything, right? And that's how I learned about how other people operate, right? For instance, wherever you move, right? I don't understand why the criminals line up for me. Right? It's like, this guy, we got to find out who this guy is, right? So they expose themselves. I'm not going around asking questions of anybody about what their business is. I don't do that. I never did that. The only person's business I want to know is the person that is in my intimate space, right? That I let into my life, the woman that I want, right? That's it, period. Or children. Or close family members, right? And then that is about trust, even when you get that far out in there, right? But, so as a young Christian man, I'm serious. it works for me because it's not hard for me to reject bad behavior, right? But what ends up happening is that, where I grew up, you had to defend yourself. You're not going to go to, people just fight you for some reason in the schools. This is what they want, and so, that's how things were back then. You had to defend yourself, you had to bulk up, right? But that's not the life I wanted. No one should have to live like that in a free country. That's why I learned the law. And then when I started using the law to my benefit in the courts, that's when reality slapped me right between the eyes. Really. Really. I learned that these people, some of these jurists, cups I don't like to call them law enforcement officers because the law is enforced in the courts, and I'll get to that. But so then I started learning that, okay, you got some good cops, bad cops. You got good judges, bad judges. So how does a system survive, right, when the institution itself does not have a moral baseline? When your leadership, right, is confused, right? They don't have personalities, right? They don't have, to be a person, you have to have borders. You have to say, no, well, I'm not going that far. And luckily, at least the 100 million donor guy said to you, Penn, I don't think so. But that's what it took for you to see for yourself what this woman's personality disorder is. This woman is not a normal person. None of them are, right? This is the product, right, that the Soviets produced, right? These people took years to create, right? And through their ascent, they hire people just like themselves. They hire other confused people, and the women hire other women. So when they said that the patriarchy was all the old boy network or whatever, right? The thing was, when I was growing up in the 60s, these guys were running shit like a machine, right? And they had, at least most of them that were running stuff didn't have personality disorders, right? And if they did, right, they relented to the law. I mean, if you argue somebody legally in a court, you should win. This isn't about whether you think that person should get the victory or not because you don't agree with their politics, or they're not in on your psychological ecosystem, right? Because when you start hiring people just like yourself, right? I mean, the good old boys would hire the best guys they could because they had to feed their families. They don't want a bunch of dummies working for them. They'll fire you, get rid of you. Well, that ended, right? So as I'm getting older and I'm starting to use the law now, I'm starting to use the law against people in positions of power because I don't like what they're doing to me, right? For some reason, people just can't leave me alone. I don't know. I should have the right to associate with who I want, right? I know I'm not the most sociable person, right? But I shouldn't have to answer to society about that, right? That's between me and someone who I'm trying to trust, or a mate that I'm trying to get or whatever. That's my business. Other people should not involve themselves in that, right? But I learned that other people are very curious about other people. Their business is other people. That's how they survive. That's how they get these positions, and they do favors, right? And that's how you get the UPenn woman, and you get the Harvard woman, I guess. What am I supposed to ask? No, really. I can't tell. I don't know if it's a woman or a man. What is this, right? Okay, right? Put it on your forehead. I'm sorry, Really, it's so absurd. These women are so absurd, right? And then the other one from MIT. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Listen, I went to Harvard Library, right? Like a couple times. Most of the time I went to MIT because I'm a scientist to look at journals. But like I said, I was at the Boston Public Library for years, man. People don't understand. I invested a lot of time in my intellect because that's the way the republic is supposed to run, right? I'm a citizen of this republic. I'm not a U.S. citizen with rights like everybody else. These other people don't believe in the republic. They don't want to assent to a man coming into court with the law in his hand, right? Because when a man like myself does that, we can expose some of these people for who they are. And unfortunately, that's where I'm at now. However, what these people didn't understand, and if I move somewhere else, they won't understand, right? Because a person like myself is a real citizen. I know what my rights are. I know how to use the law, right? And that's why I have conflicts. You know, I move somewhere and some joker wants to push me around. Like, what is this? This is ridiculous. I'm 63 years old and some guy's gonna try listen, and I'm gonna deal with that in a second in this video. But a lot of these people, don't have boundaries. It's whatever is good for them, right? Whether they're clinically narcissists or not, let's not, beat this word down, right? But the fact remains, whatever you want to call these people, you should be able to identify them. I mean, it was clear as day for the whole world to see these three women are basically the same person. They have different integuments, right? They have different names. They have a different story, but they're basically the same person. I mean, even the parroting is just astonishing, right? So that's a psychological ecosystem, right? And that's what these communists did through the course of my life, right? They got into the institutions, right? And they bred these people through hiring processes, right? And by abusing other people that are better than them, by disparaging their characters and using thugs to get them into problems, by creating lies about them. And that's how the state of Massachusetts became a one-party state. These people are not straight-up people. They're not. They are communists. And it's astounding that the state that I grew up in, right, that history says created this republic, is basically a communist state. The state of Massachusetts is a communist state. You go live there, right? So I'm growing up and I'm learning the law. Now I got to deal with these people. I got people attacking me in the street. I'm basically a pedestrian. Even if I got a car right now, I don't need it. I can get what I can get. It's not good on the dating scene, but hey, I can get to a place. I can meet people, right? I mean, until I actually need the car. Because again, the system is going to attack whatever you need, right? Those people attacked my car in Colorado. I'm in the middle of nowhere, right? And then my card gets cut off. I got no cash. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not doing these things to myself. This is all documented. These are all recoverable documents, right? And that's what's good about the digital age. I'll use it against them, right? All of it. Anyways, so I start seeing all these guys getting dropped just as bad as if they got shot between the forehead by these women. They come into these companies, they take over human resources, and they start dropping dudes. They start putting them in compromising positions. I mean, it's terrible, right? Now, so what, I'm looking at Massachusetts, 50% of the women, right, are downright, well, more than 50% of the women are for abortion, and I'm not there, right? I'm not. I'm a Christian man, right? And I got a history behind a story about this other woman, right? And sometime maybe I'll talk about that. Because I'd like to know how that worked out. I really would. But anyways, I came back out of the military. I'm trying to get my education and stuff, and I'm just running into all kinds of issues with these people who are supposed to do their ministerial duties. They're acting like they're the, King Solomon or, No. That's not how this works, right? Well, now it's an argument between me and a judge or a cop and the criminal. I'm between a criminal and the judge and the cop. Or I'm being abused by a public figure and I challenge them and they're like, who the hell is this guy to challenge us? We have the power, right? We're the Democratic Party. Screw you. Get the hell out of here. We don't believe in a republic. And we're going to beat you up. And then when you defend yourself successfully, right? We're going to charge you, and then we're going to try to put you in prison, right? Well, I beat them out of that scenario so many times. The last time I beat these Haitian guys, I beat them in a jury trial. These people are attacking me, and the system is telling me, fuck me. I'm like, what is this? Why am I such a threat to you that you won't exercise justice in my favor? Why do I have to extend myself so far to defend myself? Why? Because they're communists. They don't believe in the republic. They believe in their central power. That's why they have led, and I watched this over the decades. I've watched women shoot guys in the middle of the head. They just kill them in their profession, right? And then they get into the minds of children with some of this nonsense, this fantasy world, this digital age of fantasy, right? Where a woman is like a Hulk and can throw a guy like me across the room, right? Where I go on a bus and I got this little girl standing in front of me telling me how she's going to kick my ass and shit for some reason. I'm like, really? Really? I'm 63-year-old, right? Oh, this was in Colorado a year ago. So I'm like, really? I said, you should respect me, right? Why are you talking to me like that, right? So I had to listen, you gotta act like a man. I'm gonna talk to you like a man. Straight up women. Right? I like real feminine women. I like femmes. Right? And that means in the mind too. Right? I'm not interested in other dudes in any which way. Compromising my position in life. Right? So anyways. People have to start realizing that this psychological ecosystem that we're in, it was bred through the institutions, right? And then what the Democratic Party did, and I can prove this through Fairfax County, right? And that's why I left Fairfax County also. I mean, Fairfax County was just going down the tubes, and I can't work with amoral people. If I work with those people, they're pulling me off my spiritual and moral path. I'm a Christian man. Don't listen to other people, right? I'm a Christian man, right? I don't do these other things that society has created, like this, this philosophy that you should be a player, right? And that the women should be the player. No, that's just self-destructive. It's self-destructive, right? So when I am chaste in my life, or I stress test a possible woman I want to be with, right? Somehow there's something wrong with me. No, there's something wrong with you. I might be autistic, right? But Christ is the template of my soul, right? He guides me. He's with me every day, right? I don't care what other people say, right? I have been tested so many times, and I have stories to tell, right, that may be fantastic, but nevertheless are true. And I should have the right to have an intimate partner in my life, a wife, a woman, a Christian woman, right, that knows, if she's a Christian woman, I know what to expect from her. And she should know what to expect from me. And listen, I don't role play. I am what I am. Right? But unfortunately, I have to deal with these people that have been bred in this psychological ecosystem to believe that the courts are on one side, the criminals are on the other, and the victim plays no role in it at all, right? And this is what I'm dealing with this man here, and this is what I want to talk about now. This Mr. Perkins, right? Now, what ends up happening is what has happened before for me, right? If I see criminal behavior and I have witnesses, I'll do something about it. It depends on how egregious it is. I'm not talking about, fines and tickets and all that nonsense. I'm talking about if somebody really does some serious crime and I know about it, I'll do something about it. Right now, this guy, Mr. Perkins here, decides to pull a firearm on me, right? And the prosecution, after I filed a motion, right, protesting the fact that they didn't charge him with a crime against my person, which befuddles me why they want to bring me in the court as a victim when they're charging him with a public safety violation. I didn't see some guy with a gun and then call them up and say, oh, there's a guy with a gun, please come. That's ridiculous. I want everybody to have guns. I don't care. It's what you do with the gun, right? And so what ends up happening, right, is I file the paper, right? I say the whole story. I cite the law and all. Right now, I know that I got this guy, Mr. Perkins, because the prosecution did not say that he attempted to rob me or that he assaulted me. They just went after him for the firearm. The other charges ain't even part of the plea deal, right? So, but what they don't understand is I know how to get around that, right? And that's why I filed the motion. Now, the judge didn't even read it, okay? I know this because I went to court. So I had to go to court a couple days ago, and Mr. Perkins is there with his attorney, and there's a new prosecutor, this young lady. And I told her, I said, you read the paper I filed. I filed in October. These people, they're just not looking at anything. They're going to do what they're going to do, right? And I'm no part of it, right? They're going to obviate the crimes that this guy committed against me, and he ain't even from around here, I found out, which is good. Because these people are tribal around here. If he ain't from around here, they don't care about him, right? It's their own local criminals they care about. And that's how I get myself in trouble, too. That's why I had to get out of Alamosa, because they're all the same people, the criminals and the law and the cops. I had to get out of there. I can't live anyplace. That's America? What? No, listen, you're lucky I ain't a president. You're lucky I ain't a federal marshal, man. I'd be tightening those boys up down there so tight, right, that, they would snap, right, when I said, what the fuck are you doing? Believe you me. But I'm not in that position, right? Anyhow, right, this guy, right, so I go to court, and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. I want to talk, right, because I gotta pull this maneuver on him. I'm not going to let this, listen, I'm not going to let this guy get away with this, right? So the judge asked the prosecuting attorney if they were going to accept the motion on the my motion, if they were going to adopt the motion. They said no. So I got them on tape in open court saying that they're not going to charge this guy with a crime against me when I got the goods on him. He's on film. I'm the complaining witness. I talk to the cops. I got the cops. Cops look at the tape. They apprehend the guy. They bring me down. I ID the guy, right? And now they're saying, oh no, none of that happened, right? No, I'm the complaining witness. So you're going to tell me. All right, so now, see how I'm getting myself in trouble, ladies and gentlemen? Do you see this? Do you see this, right? Because I'm not having this. I'm a citizen of the republic that I believe in, that I fought for. And for better or worse, my relations with my close relatives or other relatives, that's neither here nor there. Generations of my genealogy has fought for this republic. So you could go stick it. You understand? I will use the law and I will embarrass these people. Right? They bring it upon themselves. And then they want to say, I ain't playing nice. What's wrong with these people? They have personality disorders, right? I mean, and so as things got worse and worse, like Fairfax County, it's like, everybody starts piling up because communists need someone. They're not on a spiritual or moral path. Some of these people don't even realize they're communists and how they're actually conducting their ministerial duties, right? When a citizen has to force, by paper or by testimony, what I'm being required to do once again is absurd, right? So what ends up happening is I get up on the stand and now I got my motion, right? So the judge is like, well, she's going to ask you who you are and a couple of questions. So she asked me who I am. I told her, I spelled my last name. And then, so now I'm not having this, right? So I have an opportunity to speak, right? See, that's how I got the paper in there too. And I'm like, I don't even know basically how it is that I said that I'm here because this guy is being undercharged. Well, that's what I said. I said, he's being undercharged, right? And then the judge, ended up, because I had to say, listen, the prosecutor isn't doing anything on my side. So the judge starts reading my motion. Again, I go through this a lot. They're not prepared. They don't take the docket seriously. They expect these attorneys to run the show. And then they all do the same thing. This is what they train them to do. I'm not blaming her. This is what they train these jurists to do. It's more efficient to get the docket off, right? And I'll address why that's wrong. That philosophy's wrong in a second. But anyway, so the judge is reading, I'm arguing that he's undercharged and that I have a right to be heard on that. And that she has the right to find facts. So then she assents to it, continues the case, and now she wants to know who's going to argue more charges against this guy, me, or the state, right? Really? So now I'm getting a hearing on this, right? Which is good. Thank you very much. I thank the judge. Thank you very much. That's the law. I had to tell her I got Supreme Court. This is just the way the law is supposed to work. But I shouldn't have to be challenged like that when a jurist knows how to take what's called, notice, judicial notice. I wouldn't waste my time with people. If somebody filed a paper like I filed and I read it, I would take judicial notice of the fact that this man is not why. I want to know why this guy, I want to hear this guy. I ain't going to argue with the guy because there ain't nothing on this paper that's illegal. Everything is legit like a lawyer filed it. That's what they're afraid of, ladies and gentlemen, is men like me. They try to take us down. I don't know how many other guys that learn the law like I have to defend themselves. But anyway, so let me continue. So I figured they got in about an hour. I leave. I come back. Because I told the prosecutor when I was leaving, I'll come back and ask her about the time. Because I don't know if they continue it late in the afternoon because it was right before lunch. Somewhat. So anyways, I talked to the prosecuting attorney that was there. And as it worked out, I explained to her that, I was sorry, but I take offense to the fact that the state is not going to bring charges for him against my person, right? That are clearly doable. I mean, I can argue in front of a well, it's going to be very easy. I mean, I already got him on the gun charge. He already had the weapon. I'm not going to give testimony that I seen him with a weapon and I called the cops because he had a weapon. That's ridiculous. This ain't England, right? This is the United States of America. People should be having arms. I just would rather they show them than conceal them, like this knucklehead, right? But anyways, so as it works out, I explained to her. I said, listen. When someone is arguing prosecutorial discretion, that doesn't override their ethical and moral responsibility, their ministerial duties, or any other ethical responsibility to the republic. Right? They have to enforce the law. And if the elements of the crime are met, they must do it. It's not a discretion. Discretion is based on evidence and whether you think that you could beat a jury, and I've already beaten juries, right? I've already done it. They don't know that. A regular citizen, that's what the beauty of a jury is, believe me, right? Not the prosecutors, not the deals, right? But this is the deals they want to do. They want to negotiate the crime that he committed against them. They see it as a crime against them. Not personally, but against their organization. They don't look at they don't consider themselves part of the republic. They're a political party. And you have to believe that. Or they're the group of people in the county, the families like down in Alamosa, they're the power. They don't care about the republic. Forget about that. Forget about it. Right? I mean, and that's why I'm going to federal court, right? And that's a whole nother story that I'm going to be documenting because this is public record. This Mr. Perkins here is public record. Come one, come all. See how this works out. But anyway, so now I got a date where I have to argue charges against this guy in front of the judge, which I will do. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how I deal with the psychological ecosystem. I can't force these people to do their duty because they do have a duty. It's not discretionary. They have a duty. Apparently they don't see it that way, just like these three women that are running these universities, right? Or the people at Disney. These people are running these institutions into the ground in front of men and women like myself that believe in a moral and spiritual path. Whatever church you go to, I don't care. You're either on the side of good or you're on the side of evil, right? I call it, I'm on the path of Christ and I'm fighting the beast. Because these people are, if you don't have a moral baseline, you're just a beast, right? And it's a metaphor. You're just an animal. You're not, whatever suits you, huh? Okay. You can't run a republic like that. And that's why the republic's falling apart. And that's why crime is rampant, right? And now this political party has allowed millions and millions of people into the country. And you don't think crime's going to shoot up to the roof? Listen, these people around here, I don't have my car right now, right? But I shouldn't be assaulted in the streets on my bike, right? Or even if I was in a car, right? This is going to get pretty bad, ladies and gentlemen, right? And if we have judges that are going to kick these guys out in the street or not properly charge them. And that was the other argument I told the prosecutor. She said, telling me that she's arguing for prison time. I said, well, this guy's got to go to prison. He could have ran up at me and shot me in the head. If it wasn't for Christ saving my soul again, who knows? That guy could have had a worser day. I just made it, I made him think quickly. And I'm not someone that looks like he can just roll over. So, that was the only strategy I had, just to separate myself from the guy and make his decision time short. And then by that time, I got over by where the gas pumps in the car was. And then I just kind of ducked and I scooted away, right? So, but anyways, so I have to go now, right, and deal with this, right? This Mr. Perkins. And it's public record, and I'll put a thumb up. I mean, I don't. These people need citizens to watch them operate, right? This isn't pressure on them. This is a public forum. That's what it's there for. If a jurist or some other political minister or other government official, a bureaucrat, or someone that has a responsibility to the public, that's public. That's not a secret. They don't get to tell other people, no, you can't know these things, right? That's why it's a public record, right? So if other people show up in the public forum in a court, that's not pressure on anyone. That's the public judging the forum, right? Because if we don't, as citizens of the republic, right, demand that our legal system, at a minimum, maintain its integrity, right? If we don't demand that, and it may take starting another political party, right? Because these guys are way off lying, all of them. They're just taking money and doing what they're told. And our republic is in deep shit. We're in deep shit. Let me tell you. The last 3 years since I left my house, my nice cul-de-sac, 3-bedroom. I mean, really nice, comfy life. COVID hits, and then I gotta do what I gotta do. I come out here, out west. These guys are running around in the middle of nowhere. They're doing whatever the hell they want, these criminals, man. Right? And there's no one to stop them. It's going to get real bad. I'm telling you, you're going to have to send the army out here and just start corralling some of these dudes and asking what they're doing here, why are they here. They don't get... Freedom doesn't mean you got a freedom to maraud, right, through these wilderness states and just rob and take shit from any American soul that may be traveling by your pet. And I'm telling you, that's what's happening. And I had to deal with it in Colorado. And then the courts and all these people are like, oh, you're not my friend, I'm not going to do nothing for you, right? That's what they told me in a 3-panel judge. Basically, their argument was, oh, read it for yourself. Anyway, so once again, oops, sorry about that. That's a sign that this video is too long, so I'm going to have to stop it. But what I want you to take away from this is that myself personally, I've documented over the decades how this has changed through my own interactions with these political party people. Because I have a right to do business, right? And if I go to court to defend myself or a business that I'm doing or whatever, right? That's where the game is, right? And that's where the law is enforced. And it shouldn't be stepped on. But it is, and it has been, and I'm dealing with it. And you need to start opening up your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, that not everybody's on a good path, right? A lot of these people, they don't want families. They just want to extinct themselves through their following. The beast will extinct them eventually because they won't have children, right? And unfortunately myself, I haven't had a child yet. But the human race is not going to go kaput anytime soon. There's too many of us. This fear of even the population crash is only going to hurt the businessmen because there's going to be less consumers and less people to do work. But that's not necessarily a bad thing either. And I'll get into that in another video. So, until next time, think free, be free, and eat free. and educate yourself on some of these personality disorders so that you can better manage your psychological ecosystem.